This is a reaction video to a Due Dissidence video about Star Wars.
Which was really good.
Absolutely.
Yeah, the Due Dissidence, they
which will be pinned in the description below.
Yeah, we'll have a link. No, that guy just, the way he laid it out and the way it was presented.
He's an OG.
He is. And
It
resonated with me throughout.
He is absolutely correct that it is George Lucas that killed Star Wars through making the midichlorians like royalty, a royal bloodline that you were only a special person. When Empire was more of an Eastern philosophy, everybody can get there. You know, Vril, Chi, or Prana, or DeForce is accessible to everybody, and this means that through bacteria in your gut, as Lucas described it, is special, and then you have it through blood, so that means you have to be of the right lineage.
Or not necessarily of the right lineage, but
it's elitist. It's elitist. It's absolutely elitist.
The only people who could use the Force were the ones who happened to have
a high midichlorian count.
The midichlorian count that would facilitate their connection to the Force.
And then
it just
it's god awful. And then by now,
I mean, don't get me started on that because
no, do. But hold on a sec. So by Dave Filoni trying to unpolish that turd by giving the Force to everybody. What's her name? Sabine?
Yeah.
In the Ahsoka series.
Yeah.
No, that's garbage too. So it's either one or the other. It can't be both.
Well, actually, I don't think that's as garbage. You can only be a Jedi if you were born that way. Sure, okay, so let's go on this premise that these midichlorians, okay, they're these symbiotic, subatomic little
microbes
that live within us.
Yes.
Just like mitochondria. We all have mitochondria in us. So why don't we all have midichlorians in us? And maybe some of us might have a little higher content than others, but it just seems to me that if you were exposed to getting in touch with the Force, even if you had a relatively low midichlorian count, wouldn't that encourage them to start reproducing in your system so that it would increase your connection to the Force if you were actively engaging with them and training that way?
I love it because you're doing the writing for them, because that's actually a way to get around the midichlorian horse shit.
Yes.
And everything else. But again, with the Sabine thing, she's
and I mean, it would be consistent with somebody who was not trained or left the order and lost their connection to the Force, and the midichlorians in their body would decrease and it would reduce their connection to the Force because they're not actively engaging with them.
But with the Sabine thing, it's such bullshit because she's already one of the last daughters of Mandalore in the ruling family or whatever.
Right.
She's had the Darksaber almost as many times as her sister and lost it. And she's this, and she's a wonderkin, and she's a weapons specialist, and she's got a cock or something. Who knows? And it's just like, this is just one more thing. So I understand how that's just complete fucking garbage. But now let's go back to the point of your idea of how it... So the thing with the midichlorians that bothers me...
So it seems to me that if the midichlorians are these symbiotic microbial
that connect you to the Force,
that live within us, they should be in all of us. Or us in the Star Wars galaxy.
Yes. Then the other problem with The Last Jedi is Luke is the son of Darth Vader. So his midichlorian count, at least in Legends, was higher because he was stronger than Vader.
Yeah.
Even at Return of the Jedi. So, how could he shut himself off from the Force and not know that Han was killed and all this other shit?
Right.
What's going on with his sister? What's going on with his nephew? Even though I completely... That whole premise of oh, I saw he might do bad. Oh, no, he was probably it's so stupid, beyond stupid. But anyway, let's go with the premise that Luke has this high midichlorian count. How can you just shut yourself off and then, it starts to atrophy? Well, I can see atrophy.
Yeah, but in Luke's case, it would only atrophy so far.
Right?
I mean, he would still be way in touch with the Force because he is who he is. And there are others like that. But, and I mean, if it were just kind of approached in a way, even in the context of the movie with the Phantom Menace and the high midichlorian count in this kid, he's never been trained and he's already got a high count higher than Master Yoda.
But he was using it when his pod racing. So
no, the Force was with him that day. Yeah, yes.
So, but in the before, yeah. So then you could.
But it could have been portrayed a little better than it was.
It could have been rewritten, or it could have been retrofitted so that
And the thing is that the overall public response to the midichlorian concept in the first place was so overwhelmingly negative that they just kind of dropped it.
Well, yeah, because it's an elitist.
And they only mention it every once in a while.
It's elitism. It's,
right.
Yeah.
And
it's like those inbred Jerrys in England. Yeah, they're actually German, not English. So I completely agree with the Due Dissidence about that it's elitism. And George Lucas, thank God somebody said it, had the nuts to say it. George Lucas is the one that started the path of lesser quality stuff through the movies.
And he made a really compelling point about the opening of the film compared to the openings of the previous films, where it always opened on some kind of action battle, something going on.
Well, not Return of the Jedi. It was a slow start. It was the Emperor showing up. It was Vader showing up. It was Vader just showing up, but it had good music, so you could get past it.
Yeah, but then it had that segued into
C-3PO and the newly minted lesbian R2-D2
rescue.
Yeah,
yes,
he makes a compelling argument that it is like the medium in Poltergeist. Either we just got to accept the shit that we're being handed,
yeah,
or
walk into the light.
Yeah, and I'm fine with going into the light. And everybody else should be fine with going into the light and ignoring Disney Star Wars. Maybe they'll wake up. Maybe they'll fire KK. They probably won't. I mean, my first suggestion when all this stuff started going on, and I was called a Nazi because I didn't like Last Jedi. Yeah. I'm like, well, KK and JJ and Roundhead's head should be put on pikes outside Disneyland. And that would be a step in the right direction to fix Star Wars. But then you have the people like that rotten Canadian Pablo and the story group. So you have to basically gut Lucasfilm completely and start it and fill it with people who actually like Star Wars, who are actual fans. But of course that should be done at Marvel too, and I don't think they're going to be doing that.
Yeah, that still, again, remains to be seen.
Yeah.
Because, Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman was an exception.
Yes.
They handled that with the care that, it was very important to them to do that and not blow it. And when you get people who don't care whether they blow it or not, then they're just going to blow it.
Yeah. Notice the Acolyte.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
And,
so, it's our fault because we are fans of Star Wars. I don't like that, but it's also has the truth to it. He's not wrong.
He does have a point in that part of the problem with Star Wars is the fans who don't want to let go of it, when we all should be.
Yeah. I let go after The Last Jedi, but it
wasn't Disney that killed it. It was Lucas who killed it with the prequels and the midichlorians, which...
Absolutely.
He has a point there.
Because I like the Eastern philosophy.
And most people who have an opinion about the midichlorians would agree.
Yeah. So the Eastern philosophy of how the Force was in Empire is great. And it basically got destroyed. And I do like that he suggested the EU. If you like Star Wars, just read the EU.
Yes. Which Disney promptly just disregarded when they took over the properties. Oh, but now they're starting to reintroduce it all into their whatever Mandoverse that they've created, and it's not going to work.
Dave Filoni's sandbox.
I mean,
because Dave Filoni,
with all all of the buzz about this movie, this upcoming Mando,
buzz from where?
Movie,
buzz from where?
About it featuring Luke.
Yeah, but
it makes you wonder if we're going to be introduced to Mara Jade in this thing, and where's that going to come from?
But hold on, I don't even want to see Luke anymore. After Mark Hamill's comments.
Oh no, a lot of people don't want to see because Mark Hamill.
And that's unfortunate that he.
And one of the comments that was made was that, if they do that, they're going to have to do whatever they can to not associate Mark Hamill's face right now with that character,
which is impossible.
Well, I mean, if they're going to do the de-aging thing,
yeah.
What he's talking about is not just doing everything they can to disassociate Mark Hamill from the character because of the public image he's got going on right now.
The ignorant comments he's made. So, what do we do? I left Star Wars essentially when The Last Jedi backlash started, and I was called a Nazi because I didn't love the fucking movie. The movie was kind of weird. I saw what they were trying to do, and they did it unsuccessfully. Just pissed me off because people got paid good money to throw shit on the screen. And I'm like, well, I'm probably not going to see the next one. And then I was called a Nazi because I didn't love the movie. Fuck you. And Mando, I know a lot of people hate Mando because, it's just this and that. But the first 2 seasons were entertaining. I wasn't looking for Citizen Kane kind of movie writing or anything like that. I just wanted something to watch TV and go somewhere else instead of living in this fucking dystopian hellhole that has been created for us.
Get out of your own life for a little while.
And then
and
season 3 happened, and it was garbage. You had Werner Herzog. Come on.
Yes, and...
Oh my God, I have the Black Series figure. I love it.
It got people excited about Star Wars again. And it was the streaming series on the Disney Plus, and everybody got all butthurt about the better movies, though. Yeah, your movies sucked. This is decent. So get over yourselves. They took it where they did by season 3, and oh god,
just ran it into the ground.
And most of that was Filoni.
Yeah,
because he ended up taking over most of the production, and Jon Favreau didn't have hardly anything to do with it. I had heard reports that he was ready to quit.
Yeah.
Because of what they were doing, and it was all like he felt blindsided by it, because my impression is that season 3 was not what he wanted to do with it.
Yeah.
And he got outvoted or outranked, and because Filoni got that backdoor promotion to production manager, whatever it was, that so he could make those executive decisions, and Favreau had no say in the matter. And it's too bad, because Favreau's work on it is what made it so good.
Yeah.
And it was his idea, and it got taken from him.
So
it sucks, man.
So, getting back to the video that we both watched, what do we do? Do we just walk into the light and that's it? Or do we stay and fight? Because I'm always looking for a fight. It don't bother me then.
But then there is always the adage about how you pick your battles.
No.
Is this a battle you want to pick? Because it seems like it's just pointless to keep fighting for Star Wars, because they don't listen, and they're not going to do anything that anybody wants to actually really see happen. Then they're going to blame us when it's no good.
So you don't agree with the adage of this way or not at all stands you in hope?
Yeah. What, my way or the highway? That is another sentiment that we get from a lot of fans, is that, it's not exactly lined up with exactly what I want to see.
Well,
and who are you out of fucking millions and millions of people that, so there is that too.
And I have to say that I was more of a Star Trek fan than a Star Wars fan. I mean, I had all the toys and all that stuff.
No, I've been too, man. I grew up on Star Trek. I was a Trekkie before there was a term for us.
Yeah.
And
so do you like Trekkie or Trekker?
Oh, Trekkie.
Yeah.
A Trekker? Okay, I'm sorry. Trekkers are people who take the show and themselves way too seriously. And that's my 2 cents on that.
So,
no, I am not a Trekker. I'm a Trekkie. I was born a Trekkie. I will die a Trekkie.
And I went and saw the prequels, and I enjoyed them for what they were. They weren't high concept art, and I wasn't expecting them to be. I didn't like the Clone Wars. I liked I liked the cartoon ones, the animated.
Yeah.
But I didn't like
the 2D animation, not the CG.
I didn't like the 2D animation one is the one I liked. I didn't like the CG one because it was garbage. I didn't like.
It had moments.
I didn't like.
You know,
I didn't like
they're
Ahsoka.
kind of few and far between.
I didn't like Ahsoka. I didn't like Ahsoka from the beginning. I'm like, what kind of jailbait is this? And why? What? And we keep revisiting the same places: Tatooine, Jabba's palace, this and that, Coruscant, blah 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 blah. You can like Ahsoka all you want. More power to you. She was not necessary.
No, but that was the premise of the series.
Yes.
Was what if Anakin had a Padawan?
Which that's dumb.
And that's what they did with it. I didn't dig Attack of the Clones, and I'm not going to get into it right now because we'll be here for an hour. But it had its moments as well. Especially people like me, OGs, had been waiting for this backstory and these prequels to tell the story of Anakin Skywalker and his fall to the dark side. And when we got it, it was just like, really? Wow. And especially since it had been enough time for like filmmaking tech to catch up with things that Lucas could do anything he wanted with it visually.
So did you not?
So the story had to be there because the visuals are just a tool to tell the story.
So did you not like that Luke and Leia's mother, which is a whole other problem from the OG movies,
right?
Because Leia wasn't actually, until Return of the Jedi, Leia wasn't Luke's sister at all. But Lucas wanted to get rid of it because he thought he could do something else, and then he didn't do anything else except Howard the Duck, which is a wonderful, horrible movie because it's just god awful. But anyway, that's another thing. So that's the crime.
And that's Howard the Duck, man. Oh my God, Howard the Duck was one of my favorite reads in the 70s. I loved it. I had almost a complete run of it.
And then the movie.
And then when that movie came out, I was just like, "You're kidding me! This is not Howard the Duck. This is trapped in a world he never made." And and Beverly was no. It didn't.
Is this your moral objection?
It was so wrong.
Is it a moral objection for you?
On so many levels.
Okay, all right. So that's one of Eric's moral objections is Howard the Duck.
Oh man, it just did not capture the essence of the books in any way, shape, or form.
Okay.
And anybody that doesn't know Howard outside of that movie, you pick up some of them comics, you'll either fall in love with it or you'll be like, what is this? There's nothing like the movie.
So
anyway,
so with the
Steve
prequels,
Gerber, man,
yeah.
Oh my God, it was so great.
So was the prequels? Was it the fact that Luke and Leia's parents were basically inappropriate sexual relationship, starting from episode 1?
Well,
and then it got creepy in episode 2, and then all of a sudden she just fell in love with him after he goes and kills a bunch of Tusken Raiders. Wouldn't that be like a major red flag? And is Natalie Portman just such a tease? I mean, I can understand losing a fine piece like that and going and being dark for a long time. Going
to a dark place?
Yeah. Not necessarily going and killing younglings or anything or destroying the galaxy, but I could see,
there had to be some something going on that would produce these children, and
But hold on,
but
wait.
for it to be in violation of Jedi
Code?
yeah, the Jedi code and whatever, and it all being done in secret, and you know, it was
Well,
the best
not
kept
really
secret in the galaxy.
not really
that
secret.
Anakin and Padme were a couple.
Not really a secret, especially given the Clone Wars TV show, which just makes it worse.
Yeah,
Which basically kind of condones the stalker mentality that could have been put on him by Padme, and then he goes and does it to Ahsoka.
yeah.
So dirty sex, tisk
And,
tisk.
I mean, really, there could have even been some mind trick kind of stuff going on with Anakin that might have not even been intentional, but that influenced her to fall for him, you know, because he was just so infatuated with her.
This is true. Yes.
And, you know, so
His undeveloped force skills.
yes. Or his developed force skills, but
In the second movie, yes.
even being unintentional, you know, but influencing her that way.
Well, then it should, because he was an awful creeper,
Wasn't he?
and then all of a sudden she just falls madly in love with him after he kills those Tuskens.
Yeah.
And then you know she took that hard hit to the crotch, landed on that saddle of that creature, because somebody did a thing per square inch.
Well, you know,
that's
I
one
mean,
tough cookie.
He used the Force to kiss it and make it better.
Oh, how sweet. Anyway, so
that made her even more in love with him.
Yeah.
Whatever. I'm just kidding. But no.
no, you're not. It's all right.
I am, but I'm not. I'm half joking.
Half joking.
Because, you know, when you're half joking, the other half
is truth.
is
So help me, yeah.
is honest, yes.
So,
Anytime you hear me say I'm half joking, you know what that means.
so what do we do? Because I'm fine
What
with
do we do? We are in no position to have any influence over any of it. So
as so many other fans. Do we just walk away from it? Because I'm fine with it.
The number one thing that we can do is just quit supporting it. Yeah,
All right.
and not be all so fucking about how terrible it is and bitch about it. Just quit supporting it.
Yep. You don't like something? Don't go there.
And don't watch it.
You got a bad meal at a restaurant? You don't go back. You don't go back there and bitch all the time about it. So I guess we got a little off topic. So my suggestion to all Star Wars fans, all the originals, even the prequels, is just go into the light. Don't support. Don't endorse. Just walk away.
Except for Andor Season 2.
Yes.
Looking forward to that, and I think that's going to be the swan song for me for Star Wars.
Like, share, and subscribe.
See you soon.